You come back to the kingdom, but it's different. The market that was once open and vibrant, filled with stalls of people selling all kinds of things, is largely deserted. The few people who are left look forlorn and lost. Everywhere you see large banners declaring only those with explicit permission from the king may sell their wares. This is not the kingdom that you remember. Hi there, I am Dr. Megan Connell, and this is Psychology at the Table. During this episode, we're going to be talking about switching gaming systems and the psychology of what it takes to learn a new system. Now, there's many reasons you and your players might want to switch to a new gaming system. The one you have might not have mechanics that work for the style of play that you enjoy, or maybe it doesn't really support the genre that you want to do. Whatever the reason, it takes a lot to learn a new system, and we want to understand all that's involved with that changing process. Learning a new skill set is not easy. Telling somebody that it really isn't all that hard to learn a new rule system is really undermining the amount of mental effort and energy it takes to learn a rule system. If we think that somebody's been playing one gaming style for 10, 15 years, that's 10 and 15 years of experience that they're going to no longer be able to rely on as much as they learn this new system. And so it takes time, effort, and energy to learn this new system. But the good news is you can do that. Just give yourself some grace and give your players some grace as you're learning this new system, because change is probably one of the most difficult things the human brain can do. And so changing something that is a hobby that we just do for fun now all of a sudden takes a lot more energy. It's going to take some time. Also, going through a change of a gaming system, in a way, it's a form of grief. It's a loss. We had a way of playing, and now we're no longer playing in that way. And as a result, you might see the stages of grief come out in yourself or in your players as you're learning the new system. So just be understanding as people might go through bargaining, depression, anger, etc., as you learn the new rule system. So it's going to take time, and that's okay. We want to make sure, though, that we're going about this in a healthy way and one that is going to prime you for success with learning the new system. So when you're making that decision on your own or with your gaming group to change systems, what I would first off suggest doing is sitting down and thinking about what it is you like about the system you're currently using. What are the aspects of that system that are done well, that got it right? It's important to understand that because it's really easy for us just to focus on all the negative stuff. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this thing. These things just are terrible in this system. That's easy, but what are the things that kept you playing that system? Was it just familiarity, or was it that you enjoyed the magical abilities, or you liked the gritty realism, or you liked the open narrative aspects of it? When we understand the things that we like about a system, not just what we don't like, we get a much broader and deeper understanding of that system and what it is we're looking for out of our gaming system. And so when we do this, we also might realize, oh, if we just change these two small things about this rule set, it's going to work really well for us. Well, those two changes are probably a lot easier to make than throwing out that whole system and trying something completely new. So really understanding what it is you like and then what it is you want out of your system is really, really important. And that is the second part of this, is to think about, what do you want out of a gaming system? What's going to be the most helpful to you? What it is that will build you up and allow you to have the kind of game that you want. Is it you need more vigorous exploration mechanics? Is it you want the gaming system to be grounded in some IP that you really enjoy? Do you want combat that makes you feel incredibly powerful, or more open narrative style of gaming? Understanding what it is you want out of the game is also going to really help you find those systems that are out there. Now, I could talk about the systems, but the people who wrote these systems and play these systems are going to be much better able to explain them to you. And so once you know kind of what you want out of the system, that's when you want to go and start looking at videos of people who play the system and have created that system to decide if that's something you want to adopt. Once you decide on a system, you're going to do your first read through of those rules. During this time, it's really important for you to pay attention to the reservations you feel internally. When you read something, you're like, ooh, I just don't like that very much, or I don't think that's going to work for my group. When you notice those things, stop and kind of ask yourself what's going on there. Because a lot of times when we have that initial like, ooh, I don't like that too much, It's not actually because that mechanic isn't going to work. It's usually because it's requiring us to change how we think about something. And our brains don't like change. Change is the most difficult thing that a human can do. And so, kind of understanding that and being open to it and more curious about that, asking yourself something like, okay, what specifically am I not liking about this? What is turning me off in this moment from this thing? And looking at it is like, is this a problem for the group and how we play? Or is this just me having a reaction to something new? When we could stay curious about our own internal reactions to these systems, it really helps us have a better idea of what it is we're looking at. Once you've decided to start playing the system, give yourself several games. I would recommend a minimum of 4 games to decide if you actually like it or not. Your first 2 games of any new playing system is going to be a lot of, that's not how it was in our last game. I hate how this works. I used to know these things. Now I don't. I don't know what to do. I don't understand how these mechanics work. As we start to work through all those difficulties and start to get this new idea of how to play under our belt, the third and fourth game is really when you're going to be running the game and playing it more as it was intended. And that will give you that better understanding of, does this system work for your gaming group or does it not? After you've finished your trial game, return back to the notes that you wrote about what you wanted out of your gaming system and determine, is this giving me what I want? Is this giving us what we wanted and what we needed out of our game? And if it is, awesome, keep going. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board, look at some of the other systems you put on your list and look through those as well. It's going to take some time, but the more time you put into this, the easier it gets. Now, something also to keep in mind is learning a new system is difficult, but there are ways we can make it easier. One of them is to practice learning new systems. Try a new gaming system 1 or 2 times a year so that you are versed in different ways and styles of play. And so that if you do need to pivot to a different system because suddenly your party's moved from more of a gothic horror feel into a modern sci-fi, you're much more able to adapt to the new system. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you all. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below. And as always, let's make space at the table for everyone.